What's up, baseball fans? We're back. Clearing the Bases Season 2. My name is Anthony Sosa, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Will Felton.
What's up, everybody? Good to be back. Season 2, Clearing the Bases. We're a quarter of the way through the season, and this is about the time where we find out what teams are real and what teams have been faking it. So, on that note, let's start out with the biggest surprise this year, both good and bad.
For good, it's got to be the Mariners, right? I mean, the past couple years, we've been waiting for this team to take off, to succeed. They haven't done so. It's been a bit of a disappointment the past couple of years. But finally, they're first in the AL West. Obviously, like you said, only a quarter into the season. But they've looked good so far, both on pitching and hitting. Right now, they're fourth in the bigs in ERA with 3.19 overall. King Felix has looked good. A surprise, Nathan Karns. Nobody saw that coming. That trade from the Rays. He's got, a 3.33 ERA right now. 4-1 with 48 Ks. Nobody saw that coming. King Felix is holding his own, 2.21 ERA right now.
Always,
yeah, he's doing well. On the offensive side, they're third in the league in home runs right now with 59. Robbie Cano's having a great year, bouncing back from injuries. Nelson Cruz is putting up those home runs like he always does. I mean, Cano's got 12 right now. Cruz has 9. That's a big part of it right there. And they're 18th in the league in strikeouts. So they're hitting home runs and not striking out. Most of the time when you see teams hit home runs, they strike out a lot. So that's been a surprise. Good for the Mariners. They're 17-7 on the road this year. Got a little bit of that road warrior mentality. I think they might be able to take the West. Nobody saw that coming. What do you think?
Definitely. For me, my surprise team is the Chicago White Sox. And they're 25-18 right now, and everybody's been focusing on the Cubs because they've been having a great start like we all thought they would. But Chris Sale, man, over there for Chicago, unbelievable. 9-0 right
filthy.
now. He's going to be the AL Cy Young, you can already tell, as long as he can stay healthy, I guess. So, and their big acquisition was Todd Frazier. We didn't know how he was going to be coming over from playing in Cincinnati where anybody could hit a home run out of there. But he's holding his own at the White Sox. They got a good lineup. They got Melky and Jose Abreu. They just got all the pieces, and they got good closer, David Robertson. He's a stud, so they got a good bullpen. So watch out for the White Sox coming into this season. They're taking control of the AL Central. Even with the Royals in there, they're holding their own. So good for them.
Yeah, on the bad side of things, I've got to go with the Blue Jays. They've looked terrible, and this was a team that many people were predicting to possibly go to the World Series this year. They're in last place in the AL East at 21-24. They're 3-7 in their last 10 games. They're 22nd in average. That's a big surprise to me. I mean, we're talking about a team that has Tulo, Jose Bautista, and Edwin Encarnacion. There's a lot of good bats on that team, and they're not coming through. They've struck out the fourth most in baseball right now. They have a good ERA, so it's not the pitching aspect that's been bad. It's the hitting aspect, which we thought was going to be the focal point of this team. And I mean, just looking at the averages, Tulo batting 204, Martin batting 178, Batista 231, even Donaldson only 250. That's not going to get the job done. And the Red Sox and Orioles have played very well so far. So unless the Blue Jays turn it around, it's looking like it could be a long season for them.
Definitely. And for me, my biggest surprise is the Houston Astros. After last year's playoffs, I mean, a lot of people thought it was going to be Cubs-Astros in this year's World Series. But the Astros are 17-27 right now, having a bad year. Dallas Keuchel, their ace, has an ERA over 5. He has not been the same guy this year. And it's really been a tough time for those Astros who really looked like last year they were a bunch of rookies. And this year we thought they were just going to be experienced. They've been through it now to the postseason. And they're just going to go roll through that AL West. But they're sitting in last place right now, and I'm a little scared for them.
Let's talk about a guy that was just recently signed, Tim Lincecum. We know him really well. He pitched for our hometown San Francisco Giants. What do you think about the signing with the Angels? $2.5 million.
I think nothing bad can come of it for the Angels, really. They have nothing to lose. Richards is hurt. Heaney is hurt. The Angels are not having the year that everybody thought they would have. And signing Tim Lincecum, maybe you can get the crowd back into it. The Angels fans maybe have some hope. Tim Lincecum, I mean, in his bullpen that he threw in front of 20 teams or so,
Yeah,
I guess
good.
really good,
Yeah.
very electric stuff, good breaking ball. And so, I don't know. I mean, when live hitters get in there, it's a different story. So we'll have to see how he does in the minors and everything, but nothing bad, no risk for the Angels. I mean, only good can come of this. So I thought it was a good signing.
Yeah, I think the signing's big too. If Lincecum does do well, he's a steal right now. And he's obviously going to ask for more money next year. But I think already having that connection with the Angels could be good for them. He could re-sign again. The thing is, like we mentioned, the Giants, if he does well, do the Giants maybe try to get him again?
I don't know. They got four starters. Matt Cain's doing pretty good recently. The only question is PV, but they have Heston to fill that role. So I don't think the Giants are going to be too interested because Lincecum was like, for sure, I am going to be a starter wherever I go. I don't want to be a reliever. So I think Angels is a good fit. All right, so now we're gonna ask each other a few questions that we haven't told the other ones what our questions are, so it's on the spot right here. First question: Jackie Bradley Jr. 26-game hitting streak for the Boston Red Sox. How long does it last?
Well, it's funny you asked that because I was thinking about that the other day. It's going to go 30 games.
30.
Yeah, he's going to lose it May 27th at Toronto.
At Toronto.
A rival. We
All
talked
right.
about how bad Toronto's been. They're going to end something at least.
All right, so those of you who play Beat the Streak, trying to get 56 games, you got 4 more games to pick Jackie Bradley Jr. All right, what's your question?
All right, so yesterday we saw that the MLB is planning on changing a couple rules for 2017. The intentional walk will no longer be thrown. It'll just be, we're going to put him at first base. What do you think about that?
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I see the speed of the game. We're trying to get things going. Intentional walks aren't very exciting, but the other part of the rules?
Yeah, the strike zone's changing. They're actually moving it above the kneecap now. I mean, tough for pitchers. You got to think. I mean, already. I mean, you're a pitcher in college,
Correct.
so what's your take on the rule?
I hate this rule. I hate it. The hitters have every advantage in the game. Why do we have low seam baseballs? Because pitchers would have too much spin on the ball for hitters, and they go farther with lower seams. Why is the strike zone moved down from the letters to almost like the belt nowadays? Because the hitters don't want to swing at high pitches. Every rule favors the hitters, and now we're just giving them more ammo. I get hitting is exciting, but I think before we have the strike zone changed to above the knees, the reason they're changing this is because the umpires are calling balls lower than the knees that aren't really strikes, so they're trying to like compensate for that. But I think before you do that, I mean, have an electronic strike zone or something, because if you just might as well just give the hitters a tee if you can't throw anything but belt high fastballs right down the middle. Like, it's unbelievable. So I hate this rule. I hope it doesn't end up going into effect next year, but that's my take on it.
Yeah, maybe the hitters just need to be better.
I mean, now we've gotten so used to the strikeouts and everything. This wasn't a problem 50 years ago. Nobody was striking out. It's just the hitting technique's different. Now we all care about is home runs, and it doesn't matter if they strike out, but that should change, and that's a shame. So I don't like the rule.
Yeah.
My second question is, we're both big fantasy players. What's the biggest surprise on your fantasy team this year so far?
Oh, it's got to be Gene Segura, no doubt. He's batting .337 right now, 5 bombs. And the thing about Segura is the Diamondbacks traded for him in the offseason from the Brewers. Segura had struggled the past couple years, and the main trades the Diamondbacks made was for Shelby Miller, and they also acquired Zach Greinke off the free agent market. So everybody thought Segura was just kind of an under the radar, he's just going to produce for them a little bit, whatever they can get from him. He came out swinging the bat. He's liking the warm weather. He's doing well. I'm really enjoying it. So our Diamondbacks fans.
Of course.
What about you?
My biggest surprise? I think a negative surprise for me.
Okay.
2 guys. I have them on both my fantasy teams. Kind of a shame. David Price and Chris Archer. I was really high on these guys. I thought they were going to have good years. Price with the Red Sox now, and Archer with all those strikeouts and everything. Both have had bad years. Price's ERA is over 6, Archer's over 5, and they're really killing me right now. So hopefully they turn things around so my fantasy team can turn it around.
All right. Well, my question has to relate with pitchers.
All right.
Right now, who's the best pitcher in baseball? I'll give you 3 options. We got Jake Arrieta, Chris Sale, or Clayton Kershaw. Who's the best pitcher in baseball right now? Or maybe it's a different guy.
Well, I'll tell you, my favorite pitcher right now would be, out of those 3, Jake Arrieta. So fun to watch. He's a bulldog on the mound. It's just entertainment right there. And being a pitcher, I gotta love the way he like just attacks hitters and everything with all his pitches. But the best pitcher right now, I gotta go with Chris Sale. Unbelievable, 9-0, sub 1.2 ERA. It's just unreal what he's doing so far. Hope he can stay healthy. And the reason that I have him above the other two is solely because he's pitching in the American League. I think it's so much harder to pitch in the American League with 9 hitters. You don't have the pitcher. And you see it with guys like, say, like a Jeff Samardzija, who did good with the Cubs in the National League, went to the American League last year, struggled. It's just a whole new ball game. It's just a different style of playing baseball. They just a lot more power there and everything like that. And now he comes back to the Johnson and is doing great again. So it's so hard to pitch in the American League. And Chris Sale, the movement on his balls, his sliders and everything are unbelievable. I think he's the best pitcher in the major leagues right now.
Yeah, you make a good point there. Chris Sale doing it in the American League. Also saw during the White Sox-Orioles game one time, he threw a slider that started outside the zone, came into the zone, and I believe it was Mark Trumbo batting, hit him in the leg.
Jeez.
And it was a strikeout.
Yeah,
and
he swung.
That doesn't say filthy. I don't know what does. We were talking about fantasy baseball. He's on my fantasy team.
Lucky.
He's racking up the points like crazy. You said he's 9-0. Now, Jake Arrieta gives a good run for his money there. He's 8-0. He has a better ERA than Sale, and he has one more strikeout than Sale. The thing with Arrieta, he has a strikeout per inning. Now, Sale's pitched more than him. Sale's got 3 complete games already this year. I'd say that I can't really pick a best pitcher between Arrieta and Sale. And even Kershaw's in there, but right now Arrieta and Sale would be your Cy Youngs if the season ended. I'll give the advantage to Sale just because of the games he's won and the complete games. But Jake Arrieta has done a fantastic job.
Oh, yeah.
Especially just after the postseason, how he's pitched then, the no-hitters. But Chris Sale right now is the best pitcher in baseball.
I mean, since June 21st of last year, Arrieta's 24-1. He has more no-hitters than losses in the last year. Unbelievable. So Jake Arrieta, close second for me.
You can't make that stuff up right there.
Yeah, that's right. It's video game numbers.
Very true. All right. Well, I think that concludes episode 1 of season 2 of Clearing the Bases. We'd like to thank you guys for watching.
Yep. Go Sharks.